As the Roman Empire began to withdraw from the British Isles, the area of modern-day England started to see a wave of migration from Anglo-Saxon Germanic tribes. According to some historians, after the Romans left, the native Britons came under attack from the nearby Picts and Scots. In response, they welcomed some of these Anglo-Saxons, hoping they would push out the other invaders. The Germanic peoples were successful in expelling both the Scots and Picts, but they then turned on the native Britons and established their own authority by the start of 7th century. The new Anglo-Saxon rulers established the kingdoms of Essex, Kent, Sussex, Mercia, East Anglia, Northumbria, and Wessex on the British mainland. There are minimal records of what happened for the next few centuries in these kingdoms, but we do know that it wouldn't be long before the Anglo-Saxons faced invaders of their own. In 793, a Viking army landed at Lindisfarne Monastery and raided the sacred building. Their violence and disrespect stunned the Anglo-Saxons, who were unprepared for what these Vikings had in store. By the end of 817, East Anglia fell to the Danish invaders, and Mercia was lost only 4 years later. When the Vikings seized Northumbria in 875, Wessex was the only remaining major kingdom under the Anglo-Saxon authority. When the King of Wessex, Æthelred, died, his younger brother Alfred was left to protect his kingdom's independence. At first, he did so by paying off the Viking aggressors until he was eventually prepared to lead an army against them. This culminated in the Battle of Edington, which left the Danes utterly routed and ended their attempts to capture Wessex. A power vacuum in Mercia around the same time resulted in King Alfred gaining control of the kingdom, instead of establishing a new monarch. He placed an ealdorman in charge. This nobleman would answer to King Alfred himself, keeping the King of Wessex as the ultimate authority throughout both regions, although part of Mercia was ceded to the Vikings. After the death of the King of Wessex and the contemporary leader of Mercia in 911, Edward the Elder and Alfred each became their respective successors. Together, these new rulers increased the pressure on the neighboring Danelaw and worked to further expand their territories. In 917, Æthelflæd expanded her land to the north, and Edward incorporated all of East Anglia into his kingdom. As Æthelflæd pushed forward with expansions, she managed to extend Mercian territory all the way up to York, where the locals decided it would be best to pledge loyalty to her after the fight. Although Æthelflæd soon passed away, her daughter, Alfhild, was expected to take her place and continue on the current course. Unexpectedly, however, the Mercian people quickly ousted their new leader, creating the perfect opportunity for King Edward of Wessex to seize all of Mercia shortly after. In 918, the Anglo-Saxons pushed further into Danelaw territory, gradually gaining more and more land. By the time of Edward's death in 924, the newly acquired neighbors, the Anglo-Saxons, had all pledged alliance to the king. This put the Anglo-Saxons in a confident position as Edward's son, Æthelstan, took over the kingdom. Around this time, Æthelstan's sister married the local Viking ruler, Sihtric, who still controlled Northumbria. Æthelstan then managed to bring the Kingdom of York under his crown after his sister's husband passed away. This left Northumbria up for grabs, and the king swiftly consolidated as part of his kingdom. This period is generally regarded by historians as a creation of the Kingdom of England. However, the situation was not so simple. Æthelstan was determined to expand his kingdom further, and although he called himself the King of the English, it was not yet the England we recognize today. In 937, Æthelstan attempted an invasion of Scotland to extend his authority further. The Kingdom of Scotland, known as the Time of Alba, was at a disadvantage and appealed to other sovereign states for resistance. This prompted an alliance between Constantine II, King of Alba, Olaf Gothfrifson, King of Dublin, and Owain, King of Strathclyde. With King Olaf leading the alliance, they faced the English at the Battle of Brunenworth, though the exact location of this battle is unknown. It is certain that the alliance was severely crushed by the English. The casualties on both sides were high, but Athelstan and the English were the undisrupted victors. Many believe this clash solidified the unity of England and stirred a new sense of nationalism and pride among the English people. Nonetheless, it did not result in the incorporation of Alba or Strathclyde into the Kingdom of England, as both remained independent. England, meanwhile, would have to prove its resilience. The Vikings, though temporarily defeated, returned to the young kingdom at the end of 10th century. After Æthelstan's death in 939, the previously defeated King of Dublin, a Viking ruler, took advantage of England's temporary instability. While Æthelstan's half-brother, Edmund, took over the English realms, King Olaf swooped in to reconquer some of the lands that had once been in Viking hands. York was quickly captured, and a large portion of Northumbria and Mercia was taken, forcing the English to accept this annexation. Ironically, when Olaf died in 941 and his cousin, also named Olaf, succeeded him, Edmund of England seized the opportunity to retaliate. The following year, the English reclaimed a portion of the annexed land, and within 2 more years, the Vikings were entirely driven out of Northumbria. This effectively reunited England under Edmund's control. Ambitious like his ancestors, Edmund next invaded Strathclyde, but only captured some of its sovereign territories. The rest was given to King Malcolm I of Scotland, rather than being annexed to England. It seemed as though the Kingdom of England had established some stability, but this was short-lived. Edmund was mysteriously murdered in 946, leaving his younger brother, Eddard, as King of England. The next year, Eric Bloodaxe from Norway attacked and seized the recently reincorporated Northumbria, prompting almost a decade of conflicts over who would lead Northumbria eventually. The English king was able to permanently reclaim the territory for England. His reign ended shortly after this victory, and his young nephew, Edwig, temporarily succeeded him but was quickly disposed in favor of his brothers. This was only a partial disposition, which meant Edwig still had a small section of the kingdom as a co-ruler. When Edwig died 2 years later, Edgar took over the whole of England. Under the reign of King Edgar, known as Edgar the Peaceful, the true foundations of the England kingdom were established. Many reforms were passed, and numerous systems and laws that had existed in the Danelaw were upheld to avoid displeasing the Danish population. Peace, unity, and order were the pillars of Edgar's nearly 2-decade-long reign, and his efforts helped to fully solidify the unity of the young kingdom of England.